Hi Virgo, welcome to your April 2020 Astrology 33 bonus love reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more details there. As far as what we have in front of us, this is what I call the Bridging the Gap spread, and the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. These are the past energies, present energies, future energies. And once we get through all those, we actually pull some oracle cards with some additional insight. That's where the Bridging the Gap dynamic comes into play. As far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot. On the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. Alright, and also keep in mind it is a general reading, so if you feel more like the cards on this side represent the other person's energies and the cards on this side represent your energy, then definitely roll with that. Alright, so past energies on your side, we have the Two of Staves and the King of Coins. So this is actually a court card that represents Taurus energy, and this is actually a card that represents Aries energy. So what this could be saying for some of you is maybe you had to move away for a financial opportunity. So for example, maybe you had a better job offer in another city, so maybe you had to move to that city, because the Two of Staves represents a new start. And then when I see the King of Coins, that's, for one, Taurus energy represents your 9th house. So to me, that makes me think that you might have had to move a distance for this opportunity. And then also, on top of that, your traditional card is, as far as the court cards go, is the Knight of Coins. So if you wanted to progress from the Knight to the King, right, that would be an increase. So that's what I'm picking up on there. Or maybe you guys were just so focused on finances that your attention was completely turned away from the connection as well. And the reason I say that is because if we look at their position in the spread, he has his back completely turned to the cards on this side. So, whether it represents you physically had to move somewhere regarding finances, again, maybe a job offer, or your mind was elsewhere because you were more focused on finances and how to increase your finances, that's what I'm picking up on there, which is to say, you weren't really putting energy into the connection in the past. So I don't think that this was you pursuing something with another person. I feel this is more you just, wrapped up in something else. All right, past energy on their side, we have the Justice card. So this is actually the major arcana card for Libra energy, which for you guys is actually your 2nd house. So that could be yet again pointing to finances, but what I'm seeing here is what always stands out to me about this card and this deck in particular is her body language, and that's to say that she's looking towards the card on your side, but then if we look at her legs, they're positioning away, right? So this could just be saying that, especially given that it's Libra energy, which is about balance, this could just be saying that, once you shifted your focus elsewhere, maybe to your finances, this could be saying that they might have shifted their focus elsewhere as well in the past. But at the very least, it looks like they might have been more reluctant to do so because, again, like I said, they are looking in your direction, but they're leaning that away from it, right? So that's why I feel there where it could have been one of those things, and maybe it wasn't even a position of tension between the two of you. Maybe it was them just realizing, oh, okay, well, Virgo's busy right now. I'm going to go do my thing too. Can be that way. But for some of you, it might have been one of those situations where they felt like you kind of left them hanging, so they didn't want to leave, but they were kind of left with no choice, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm seeing there. Present energy on your side, we have the Triumph card. So this is actually the equivalent of the World card in traditional tarot, and usually that represents completions. So, obviously, if we look at it in that context, maybe this is saying that whatever you had to work on in the past, like I said, whether you had another job offer that took you somewhere, might have even been temporary, right? Especially given that you guys have Uranus in your 9th house too. So that could represent sudden travel that you might make. But in addition to that, this could just be saying, especially given that we see the two people together, right? This could just be saying that whether it was a physical thing that you were doing or just something more mental, and maybe even an ascension process, quite frankly, given that I was saying, going from the Knight to the King, right? So whatever it was, it looks like you might have wrapped that up now, and now maybe you're actually able to reunite with this person. That's what I'm seeing there. And then with Triumph too, that represents overcoming some difficulties. So, I mean, with all the stuff going on in this world, quite frankly, it might have been where you were still supposed to be, wherever this place was in the past, but maybe you actually had to go home because of all these travel restrictions coming up. That's another way it could be playing out as well. Um, but present energy we have on their side, we have the Two of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. So this is an interesting combination of cards here too. What I always point out when I see the Two of Pentacles in this deck, usually we think of it as juggling, right? With the traditional tarot, because we see the guy with the two pentacles trying to keep him balanced. Here, I always look at this person's body language and it looks like he's like slowly approaching and he's kind of reluctant to touch her, right? So this could just be saying that they could be reluctant to start over with you, right? If we look at the ace as the start, so going from that 2 to that 1, it could just be pointing to their reluctance to start over with you again, especially, I don't know if your departure in the past was discussed or if you really just kind of up and left. I'm not sure if I see that dynamic here, but maybe if there was some tension around the way you might have left in the past, maybe now this is them being reluctant to just let you back in, you know what I mean? So on your end, you might be like, all right, cool, I crushed this goal I had, I feel great, let me go back to this person. Whereas for them, they might have felt like you left them hanging, you know what I mean? With the energy we see there, they might be like, oh, okay, well, that's cool that you're back now, but, you can't just expect me to jump back into it, right? So that could be how it's playing out for some of you with these two cards. Let me see if anything else comes to mind. And for others of you, it could also be saying that maybe if they have started dating someone else, because again, if we go back to the juggling dynamic with the Two of Pentacles, right, and now you're back in the picture, maybe they're, trying to decide, do they want to, be exclusive with you or with the other person, so there could be some decision making that they're trying to do there. All right, future energy on your side, we have the Princess of Coins. So this actually represents the Page of Coins. So for some of you, this could, especially if we look at the body language here too, right? Like she doesn't look very happy. So for some of you, I don't know, this is interesting. It could be pointing to maybe you guys might feel like there's a loss financially in some way, shape, or form. So maybe you felt like you took a step back, right? Which I wouldn't have necessarily seen there with the Triumph energy. So really what I'm seeing more than anything with this is your realization, perhaps. Because what I always say is I look at the trees and it looks like there isn't much life to those trees in the background, right? So this could be you coming to the realization that, maybe you had this overly optimistic view of what would happen when you came back into the picture. Like, oh, I'm going to come back, everything's going to be amazing, right? But maybe this is you coming to the realization that this connection now is actually going to require some work, right? Because like I was saying, maybe you come back around and this person might be a little reluctant, like, well, okay, how do I know you're not going to just leave again, right? So could be what's going on there. So you're coming to that realization like, oh, okay, this is going to take some work for me to build this back up, right? That's primarily what I see it playing as more than an actual financial loss. And for others of you, could it be pointing to you trying to find that balance too, right? Where maybe because you were just so focused on finances, you were able to, really advance in that area. But now you're just trying to figure out, well, how do I keep that progress that I made financially, but also maintain a relationship, right? So it could be trying to figure out that work-life balance in that regard too. And future energy on their side, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So Seven of Pentacles in the traditional tower represents, investment of time and energy and resources and reevaluating that. Here, I don't necessarily see that as much, but here again, it could just be saying that, there is the desire to be together, right? We see them together on that chair, and obviously they look like they're pretty comfortable with each other. But this could just be saying, combine that artwork with the Seven of Pentacles energy, which is to say that, okay, you guys might come to the realization that that's great if we want to get back together, right? We want to commit to investing into growing this connection, but it's going to take some work. That's what I'm picking up on more than anything there. All right, bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Four of Cups. So this is actually Cancer energy. But for some of you, what this could be pointing to was just saying that, maybe while you were away, you might have been getting offers from other people, and maybe you were realizing that, yeah, maybe this connection I had with this past person was stronger than I thought it was. You know what I mean? I'm definitely getting more of a feel of distance here as well. So for some of you, I really do feel like for a lot of you was, if not physical distance created in this connection, at the very least emotional distance. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm seeing there. And then the bottom of the deck on their side is the Nine of Cups. So at the very least, I will say where it looks like there is some reluctance on their part, at least in the present, to just jump back into a connection with you. It looks like underneath it all, they probably do see you as a wish fulfillment. So it could just be one of those things where, maybe they just need some kind of assurance. Like I said, with this Libra energy here, where they're looking your way, but then leaning away. They might have felt like in the past that they had no choice but to, separate the connection with you, but now you're coming back in the picture and they're like, well, what what assurance do I have that that same cycle isn't going to repeat? You know what I mean? That you're not going to next month all of a sudden you have another offer and you're like, all right, I got to go. You know what I mean? So it could just be one of those things where they just want to see you put in some effort in that regard. All right, so moving on to the Oracle cards. First, we have the Mystic Moon Oracle deck, and I did pre-shuffle this deck before we started recording, and I'm just going to look for some jumpers here. So first, I'll be looking for any unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you after that. And if I shuffle for a while and it seems like no cards are coming up, I just take that as a sign to keep it moving, since it's just a general spread. Alright, so let's see if we get anything. Like I said, first I'm looking for unspoken messages from you to them. Okay, nothing coming up yet, but I'll give it a few more shuffles. Okay, got one there. And let's see if we have any unspoken messages from them to you. Okay, nothing coming up yet, but I will give it a few more shuffles, just like we did with the other situation. See if we get anything. Okay, got two actually. So, starting with the card on your side first, we have I'm reminded of you constantly. So yeah, I mean, that's not groundbreaking information, right? But at the very least, that makes me think that maybe there was some kind of separation, whether it was just, like I said, you had to move away, or your mind was just focused elsewhere to such an extent that you weren't really putting any energy into the connection. So that's what I'm seeing primarily there. But let's see what we have on their side. All right, we have you're an angel, so that almost kind of goes with that Nine of Cups energy, where it does seem like they really do see you as that wish fulfillment, and you feel like home to me. So, I mean, pretty positive cards there, you know what I mean? Like, it's nothing really negative to say there. So, yeah, I mean, that almost, for me, reaffirms what I was feeling, which is to say that it does seem like there's definitely that interest there, but they just might want, rather than jump right back into something, they might want to do like more of a gradual build up because, again, and you'll know if this is the case for you too, obviously, because this is the past position. But if it was a situation where in the past you might have left without, much of a warning, and, they just felt like, okay, well, where'd that come from? It could be one of those things where now they're like, all right, well, now I'm going to make sure that I really let this progress more slowly to make sure that this isn't something that's going to play out again. You know what I mean? So it could just be as simple as that. Like I said, at the very least, with that Seven of Pentacles energy in the future, they are definitely together, right? So to me, like I said, just feels more like an energy where you guys just might have to put some work into the connection. And with that Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck, they'll probably be willing to do it too. So, all right. Next, we'll pull a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Same situation. I did pre-shuffle this before we started recording, but here I'm just looking for one card, and then we'll wrap up. All right, there we go. Got one. Pretty fitting too. Oh, if I could pick it back up. You guys got building blocks. There's the artwork, and the number is 28. All right, it says, strong foundations, a beautiful work in progress. The Oracle's message, you have everything you need to cultivate an extraordinary life. This is a time when your focus needs to be on the foundations you build upon. Your work, your relationships, and your very being are underwritten by your values, ethics, morals, and core beliefs. Are they still true for you? Will they stand the test of time and serve as the solid grounding upon which you construct your life? Now you are making changes that will affect everything in a positive way. Your destiny is truly a remarkable and beautiful design. So definitely an interesting message there. And maybe it's really just emphasizing that, like I said, whatever it seemed like you were working on in the past, you seem to have completed that now. And then I feel like that's what part of what leads you to be able to put your energy back into the connection. All right, and then the relationship message says, when you see this card, know that you are attracting new relationships into your life and solidifying the ones you already have by building them on the foundations of honesty, humility, clear communication, and a genuine desire to know one another. You are moving toward laying the groundwork for a relationship with the firm footing that will ensure it can withstand any storm. Long-standing relationships are also repaired and strengthened. You and the other person are stronger, wiser, and more powerful together than apart. So definitely a pretty supportive message there too, and definitely seems to go along with the theme of what we saw in the main spread, so I won't really go on and on about that. But overall, like I said, does seem like a pretty positive spread, guys. It looks like you might have to put a little work into the situation, but again, it looks like things can definitely progress in a positive way. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.